All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here talking about real issues in this video. Holy crap, Batman. You're not going to believe this. Not going to believe it. You got to stay tuned. You got to watch the whole thing. Swerving out of my lane. Doing this, of course, in real time for a few real people out there who care about humanity. Just like you out there and just like me here. I've been saying for a long time, does anyone really care about humanity? Nobody cares. And I'm feeling lonely. But people over on Patreon, they're saying, nope, keep going, man. Don't stop. Other people out there making videos about me saying this guy is a loser. Yeah, I've been a loser. Yeah, I'll admit that part of my life, most of it actually, I've just been a complete loser. But I've managed to get a few subscribers here, so here we are. What are we going to do about it? Well, we're going to talk about what Sherry sent me yesterday. Bombshell. Sherry is one of my patrons. She's been one of my best patrons. She's been with me since 2020. So she's seen me at all my different phases, talking about music and now talking about this super safe and effective product. So let's do a little screen sharing here. I'm just going to read this because you know what? It's hard to believe this actually is happening now. But I hate to be the guy who says, see, I told you so. Look, I've said this before. I don't take pleasure in any of this stuff. I really don't. But, you if you were here during 2020, 2021, I'd read these articles. Gene Simmons says that people are stupid and they're Neanderthal, and you get anti-science and anti-vax and just selfish. You're trying to kill grandma and all this stuff. And I was like, no, I won't go see grandma. I don't have a grandma anymore. So you don't have to worry about me doing that. Um, but they kept going. You had Paul Stanley, you had Sebastian Bach, you had the Twisted Sister guy, you had the Noodles Offspring guy, you had all these people in the rock world just lined up behind the pharmaceutical industrial complex. Why? Money, obviously. And they think if you oppose something like this, you're stupid. Well, turns out I wasn't the stupid one. Okay, wasn't me. Sorry. So anyway, Sherry sent me this and said, "Did you see this? My sister just sent it to me. Disgraced. Now this is unbelievable. Disgraced former CNN anchor Chris Cuomo, who advocated, not just advocated, cheer-led, and did all of the shaming that you could possibly do. I mean, day after day, night after night on that stupid show, he and Don Lemon telling everybody, you don't want to get a vaccine? Guess you won't be going to the ball game, right? Okay. Thanks for that update. I guess I won't be going to the ball game. You don't want to go to a concert. Remember, I talked about this. Everybody had a QR code you had to get. Garth Brooks, he had a tent. Remember, Garth Brooks had the tent and nobody was going to the tent to get their vaccine. Oh, but they were showing their QR codes. Now, a lot of people say, I'm just going to say this because it's true. A lot of people probably got fake, I don't want to say QR codes, but they probably got fake cards. Those cards that said you were. I know several people, both in the industry and just people that I know, who were about to be fired, but somehow they acquired one of those cards and they made it through. And that would be one place where I would think, yeah, you know what? Here, it's okay to lie. I hate to say it. Don't want to break any of the commandments, but these people are forcing you to inject something into your body. You don't know what it is. Does anyone think it's weird? Well, can I ask what's in this stuff? No. Well, can you show me the insert? Well, it's blank. Now, roll up your sleeve. So, all right, let me continue here. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to go off on a million tangents, and this could be a fairly lengthy video. By the way, this video is being brought to you by me, okay? Dave. I don't have any sponsors, but I do have patrons. I need you patrons to support this channel because obviously the algorithm hates me. And apparently there are other people who do this stuff that don't like me. I don't care about them. So I don't understand why there's a need to come after me. Worry about your own house, worry about your own content. Anyway, so disgraced former CNN anchor Chris Cuomo, who advocated for the COVID vaccine, publicly admits for the first time to suffering from a COVID vaccine injury. And there's video of this. Unbelievable. So you'd have to go to News Nation via YouTube. By the way, News Nation is one of these channels that tries to be like in the middle. Like they're not Fox News and they're not MSNBC. They're trying to be like, oh, we're above the fray. So this is interesting here that they've decided to go public with this, and they're allowing Cuomo to tell his story. Cuomo, the biggest advocate, was it like he and Don Lemon on CNN every night? You need to do this, because of grandma, because if you want to go to the ball game or the concert and every night they would shame everybody into doing this and make everyone feel like they were a piece of dirt if they didn't trust the pharmaceutical industrial complex here. So anyway, he disclosed for the first time that he had been suffering from side effects that he attributes to the COVID vaccine. The admission came during an in-depth interview with nurse practitioner Sean Barkavich, who was also featured in a New York Times article discussing similar vaccine-related injuries. Okay, full stop here. So the New York Times is reporting this now. Hey, Gene Simmons, can one of you guys come forward just and say, you know what? There's a lot of stuff that's come out since then. And, the stuff I said, I mean, you Google articles all day long and it's just like vicious attacks against people that don't trust this. Remember I told you about how, there are no rebels in rock and roll. And when you find one, you're like, hey, like, who was it? The woman from the Runaways came out about a week or so ago and said she didn't like anything that was Democrat, basically saying that they're a bunch of liars and stuff. And she's right, of course. And this is where I get hit. Well, Republicans lie. Yeah, let me clarify for you haters. I don't like any of them. I don't like any of them. But you've got Marxists over here and socialist light over here. Those are your choices. And both of them, by the way, unanimously, for the most part, said, yeah, go get your vaccine. Most of them. And a few people did pivots after a little while and said, you know what, maybe this isn't a good idea. Like governor in Florida here, he kind of was one of the first ones that said, the guy in Georgia too was pretty good, said, yeah, I don't know if we want to keep doing this. This isn't good. We shouldn't close all the businesses down. We shouldn't be masking kids. How traumatic is that? Put on this mask, Johnny. I don't know how we got that sick so quickly. And so many people just, okay, yes, they're telling me I need to do this. They're not giving me any, proof as to how this is going to work, but everyone just did it. Let's go on with this because this is just amazing. So Barkavich shared his alarming experience with the side effects that began just minutes after receiving his first dose in 2020. So he must have been one of the first people getting this, because I'm pretty sure most people started getting it in early 2021. But because he was on the front lines, yes, you get first dibs at this. It's like, oh, man, that's just great news. I get it before everyone else. The symptoms included heart palpitations. I like a good heart palpitation. I have my coffee here sometimes. After a cup, I might feel like I'm having a heart palpitation. I don't think I actually am, but the coffee is good. And that happened when he was standing. Like he would stand up and then he'd get heart palpitations. Numbness, your foot falls asleep or something like that. But I think they're talking a little bit more numbness than just that. Persistent tingling. Well, and they have a shampoo years ago that you put in your hair and you get a tingle sensation. But that quickly spread actually from his arm to his face and eyes, which got worse after his second dose. Now, why would you get a second dose? Wait till you hear this. We know that vaccines can have unintended consequences, aka side effects, but nobody's really talking about it because they're too afraid of blame. Like you, Chris Cuomo, you don't want to talk about this because you know what, Chris, at least tell everybody. Does he tell anyone that he's sorry for what he did? They should say, he should say here, instead of just blame, part of it's blame, but the other part is money. Are you guys going to lose sponsors? Are you going to lose all of your, because this channel, by the way, News Nation, it's all, you watch it for a little while and they've got a product that can fix your problem. It's all pharma commercials. It's so many pharma. I mean, you can't watch like Wheel of Fortune without seeing 3 pharma commercials and a disgusting ad for some deodorant that you put in a different place than under your pits. Okay. I've seen that commercial and I'm like, this would never be on TV like even 10 years ago. But this is the new normal and brought to you by this. So Cuomo says they're too afraid and they just want it to go away. Well, the only way it's going to go away is if you face the music, Chris Cuomo. See how I integrated music into this? I told you I would. But the problem is people like Sean and me and millions of others, not just, 1 out of every 200,000. No, millions of others. So we live in the United States, population 330 million, something like that. So millions, I don't know how many millions. Let's say it's 5 million. And no, there's nothing to see here. There's nothing to worry about. It's safe. It's effective. Shut up. He says millions of others who still have weird stuff with their blood work. Weird stuff with their blood work. And their lives and their feelings physically are not going away, Cuomo said. So he's basically saying the symptoms they have and their blood work, none of that is good. All right. And physically, they're not feeling well. Now, this is the nurse practitioner again talking. As soon as I was injured, 15, maybe 20 minutes into my first dose, I experienced numbness and tingling up and down my injected arm, which spread over the day to my face and my eyes. I consulted a neurologist who ran some tests and remarked, well, this is all new. That's a neurologist saying, we don't know much about it, but the hospital is going to mandate it. You should get a second dose. So he had all these symptoms and the neurologist told the dude to get a second dose. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. What? Why would you do that at that point? There had to be mass hypnosis. You know that theory about the mass hypnosis? This is it. This is it. You would sit there and go, yeah, I see that you're having all of these problems, and I think you should get a second dose. Everything, this guy said, everything in my medical mind and in my bones was telling me, no, if you have a reaction to something, don't do it again. Anybody, not even somebody with a medical mind. However, he says the pressure was immense. Then 3 weeks later, I received a second dose. And after that, everything blew up. I went from being a healthy, 100% healthy, fully functioning nurse to a complete downward spiral of health. I developed a myriad of symptoms, he added. Does anyone care about humanity? Does anyone, is this like a broadcast that's going to go out into the depths of the universe and just keep echoing, but never reach anybody who could maybe say, you know what, maybe we should just stop doing this, right? We should just stop. Barkevich expressed his disappointment with the lack of support from various health agencies and from vaccine manufacturers. Really shocking that he wouldn't hear from the CDC or the FDA or any of the other alphabet soup nightmare that we have out there. And no, Didn't hear from vaccine manufacturers? Another shocking thing. I thought there would be people ready to help me after my injury, he explained. I reached out to political representatives, of course, the politicians, right? They all said, go and do it. I reached out. I also reached out to the NIH, the CDC, and the FDA, but I received no answers. No one wanted to touch it. Okay. So this could actually be the biggest evil thing that's ever been done to humanity. It could literally be, and we're living through it. And people are just whistling past the graveyard. And this is what I hear from people. I got people that keep saying, well, I took it, I'm fine. Okay, have you had any blood work done? Because Chris Cuomo says blood work is kind of weird, right? And have you checked for any of those microclots? Because that you have to have a D-dimer test to determine that. And if you've got that, then you've got heart disease. That's what I've been told. With medical professionals in the U.S. offering no assistance, Barkavich took his quest international, sending blood samples to Germany, where he found scientists willing to aid his investigation. I sent blood samples to Germany and connected with German scientists who were more than willing to help than those in my own country. Unreal. The test showed I had developed several autoantibodies, some of which scientists believe are related to this positional. Now, I can't pronounce this word. I'm going to try. Tachycardia, you mentioned, where my heart rate spikes every time I stand up. My autoantibodies resemble those in people with long COVID, although I never contracted the virus. Is it possible that they made up the whole term long COVID to cover for this? It kind of looks that way, doesn't it? This was confirmed through immunological studies of my blood. They found no viral antibodies, Barkavich said. So he doesn't have any antibodies after doing all of that. Barkavich expressed his expectation of support from his pro-vaccine colleagues who he believed would assist him in his time of need. Instead, he encountered a starkly different reality. I thought my pro-vaccine colleagues would championed me would lift me up and help me. Instead, they turned around, dismissed, denied, and tried to censor and bury me, Barkavich said. His situation, he argues, is exacerbated by the political implications of vaccine side effects. They're afraid that by showing my face, I'll drive vaccine hesitancy. Is this like these terms that they've come up with, like vaccine hesitancy and anti-vax, food insecurity? I just think all these new things that they've come up with. I'm not hesitant. I am not. No, I'm anti never taking. Sorry, not interested. Am I anti-car? Like, if I don't want to buy a car, am I anti-car? No, I just don't want to buy a car. I mean, the terminology they use is just stupid. You're hesitant. Yes, I'm very hesitant. No, I'm not doing it. So I'm more than hesitant. But what they don't realize, and what I have come to realize, is that the censorship and concealment are actually fueling vaccine hesitancy, he added. Yes, fueling it because we know what this guy is talking about. We know that it's true. It's true. And now he's fueling more hesitancy by coming forward and telling the truth. Barkavich critiqued the Biden regime's handling of vaccine reactions, suggesting that a more transparent approach acknowledging the novel nature of vaccines and setting up dedicated support programs could have fostered public trust. If the government had just said, hey, these are novel vaccines like they did with a virus, this is a novel virus, there will be reactions. Let's set up a program to handle them, establish a fund, and oblige the manufacturers to provide help or research. I think the citizens would have appreciated that. This guy, it might be a little bit too mild-mannered for what he's been through. Barkavich, along with many Americans, experienced censorship on major social platforms where his posts were often tagged as misinformation. Now it's in the New York Times. Is the New York Times misinformation now? When I tried to reach out online, platforms like Facebook and Instagram would tag my messages as misinformation. Yes, that's right. I'm just a desperate person to whom something bad happened, and I'm reaching out and pleading for help, he said. Cuomo, who is part of the censorship regime, admitted to Barkavage that he also suffered from vaccine side effects he attributes to COVID-19. Sean, I can't help you because I'm no clinician. I'm sick. Been listening. By the way, she she went on to tell me, this is Sherry, been listening to Ramos Hugo, The Dream today. So good. And I wrote, holy crap, Batman, I will be doing this tomorrow, meaning talking about it. So thanks to Sherry for sharing. Sherry sharing. I don't know. So what do you think? Do you think it's just a hoax? You think it's just a couple of kooks out here? Yeah, it's in the New York Times. Chris Cuomo, who was like the lead liar. He was like the liar in chief, along with Don Lemon and pretty much every news channel, right? There were no skeptics out there. It was even Fox News. It was full steam ahead, man. President Trump, sorry. I know a lot of people love President Trump, but yeah, he was duped. He was fooled. You want to take that approach to it. But even today, he has yet to repent and say, you know what? I mean, he should talk to Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo should interview President Trump and say, hey, what do you think of this? I know you were, the father of the vaccine and you were really proud of it and thought it saved, millions of lives. And then, of course, the guy who came after, the corpse, he was even worse. He was trying to mandate pretty much everybody take this stuff. And yeah, Chris Cuomo, that's crazy that he ended up having side effects. So anyway, folks, I know this is way out of my lane. You can blame Sherry, right? Send Sherry all the mail instead of me. No, I'm kidding. Leave Sherry alone. She was nice enough to send that over to me. And I think we just all need to pray. We need to pray that this stops, that these people wake up, that these politicians, I don't care who gets thrown under the bus at this point. I don't care, even if it's people that you like, you think you like them, and then they sell you out and they do something like this. This is why I don't trust anybody. This is why I'm basically politically homeless. This is why this to me just seems like a big horse race and a distraction. Meanwhile, real problems are happening to real people out there. And we just ignore it. We just ignore it. We pretend that it didn't happen to me. I'm fine. You might want to have some blood work done if you got this. Just throwing it out there. You might want to do that. You may have something going on and you don't know. You probably need to find that out. I know a lot of people are probably very frightened, very scared, and they're thinking to themselves, I don't want to know. I understand that too. But anyway, folks, that's the video. I'm sorry I'm swerving way out of my lane. We did mention their Ramos Hugo, The Dream CD, which I don't know if you can still order that anywhere, but Sherry was a fan of that when I suggested that years ago. And of course, Hugo and his band Voyage have a brand new album out there. So I'll do some music content. Here we go. Inception. All right. So go buy this. This is, if you like Journey and you like great melodic rock, this is the album of last year. I may make it the album of this year too. I may just extend it out to 2024. That's how much I like it. All right, people. Stay away from CVS, Walgreens. No need when you hear something like this. Why would you continue to do this? Why would anyone continue to do this? And people need to be held accountable. Like, people need to go to jail. That's what needs to happen. They need to go to jail for crimes against humanity. That's what this is. Anyway, folks, God bless everyone. Pray for peace around the United States, on college campuses, in the Middle East. Peace. I don't care what side of anything you're on. I think we all have a tribe and we all have a team, and we tend to root for those teams and tribes. What we need to do is be rooting and praying for calm in the midst of the storm, right? And just reading this account from Chris Cuomo and this nurse practitioner, this is this is some scary stuff, and we all need to get our bearings and get about the business of fixing this mess. I'll talk to you soon.